It's a scary time in Raid Shadow Legends. Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends. We're on my main, but it's not really going to matter because we are talking fusions. We are talking Sanguine Maria. We are talking about Bloody Mary. And of course, we're going to be talking about the Leonardo path as well. I don't necessarily have concrete news about that, but I am hoping I have some news for that. So let's talk about the schedule for this. Let's talk about Sanguine Maria quickly, and let's see if she is worth going for. And even if you decide if she is or isn't worth going for, you can figure out what events you want to do or don't want to do if you want to get one of these epics as well. And if the Leonardo path happens to be involved with this fusion, which it looks like it might be, well, we'll talk about it. So first of all, Sanguine Maria is in the game, and she looks spooky as ever. For some reason, these mirrors like to go out of focus unless they are really, really close, and even then, just the way the focus filters work. Not built for her, but I understand why they wouldn't redo them for everybody just to get her to work properly. But looks really good. Her kit, we're going to go over it again quickly. I have gone over it in a different video beforehand. But she's got a single attack 3 times. Each hit is a 33% chance of gaining an extra turn and cannot gain more than 1 extra turn. That 1 extra turn is for her on this attack. So every time this attacks, you've got 3 chances for a 33% chance to gain an extra turn, but you can only gain 1, so she can't chain extra attacks. Apparently on the test server, she was broken where that was not working, and as a result, you could stack up extra turns and get like 4 or 5 or 6 of them occasionally, and it was absolutely busted. So they fixed that, and that was the intended purpose of this in the first place. So the actual chances of this is about 70% of the time you'll get an extra turn on the first one. And after the first one, you've got a chance of chaining them, and it's maybe like 45%, and it goes down from there. I don't have the exact math, but there's a couple of people that have done it. But she can chain extra turns somewhat reliably, and I don't think you can improve this ability with Sniper, although you certainly could try. Might be kind of fun. Very, very good A1, and a lot of these things are going to be based around 3s. The Sanguine Fisher, the A2 here, is a 4-turn ability, books to 3 turns, all damage books, will ignore 33% of the target's defense, will ignore 99% of the target's defense, stone skin, and block damage buff instead if this is used on a turn number that is divisible by 3. It's early morning, I can't talk. If the target is killed, increases the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns and cannot be resisted if it's turn divisible by 3. That is her turn. So it is every 3rd turn of hers, this triggers. And then Gore Scream attacks one enemy before attacking, removes all buffs from all enemies. This effect cannot be resisted by enemies with a number of buffs that is equal to divisible by 3. That's really hard to control, but it's doable. But yeah, that's going to be hard to control without some level of accuracy. So you may end up wanting accuracy in this champion, at least some minimal level of accuracy to be able to get some of the strays out there. And it's not like accuracy is that hard to build nowadays. Will attack all remaining enemies with less than 66% HP. Grants an extra turn if this champion is under a number of buffs that is divisible by 3, which is easier to control, but not perfectly easy to control. You can do it anything from, I've seen Blood Shield rings being an interesting option to make sure you always have that extra buff going on, to make sure that you generally always have 3. You get an extra turn, kind of interesting. Finally, her passive, each subsequent hit for this champion deals 33% more damage, stacks up to 99%, resets after the 99 damage bonus to provide. This cycles as 0, 33, 66, 99. So this is actually on a 4-turn or 4-hit cycle. So her A1 does 0, 33, 66, and then the next one is a 99%. So you can use the A1 to set up another skill on her first turn, and if she gets that extra turn on that first turn, she's going to absolutely nuke with an extra, basically almost 100% extra damage. Each subsequent hit this champion receives 33% less damage, stacks up to 99. Resets after 99% is applied. So again, 0, 33, 66, 99. It's each hit. So multi-hitters are going to struggle against her. Single hit, the first hit is going to be the way to go to knock her out. Otherwise, she's going to get tankier and then not take a ton of damage, which is going to be an interesting survival mechanic because the first hit sometimes can kill squishy champions. She's at least not stupid squishy, but she's not exactly durable. It's very slow speed, unfortunately. Good amount of attack, usable HP, okay defense for an attack champion. No accuracy built in, not too surprising. And she can do fear and true fear. If an enemy is revived, she'll do revives this champion with 33% HP and 66% turn meter. So she revives herself if somebody else revives on the other team with no cooldown, by the way. That cannot be blocked or resisted, the true fear, when she's revived. So that's kind of important as well. And of course, she's a 33% attack aura in all battles. Is she a good champion? Yes. Her multipliers are good. She has other multipliers as well. She can absolutely nuke, even without making the most of this ignore defense on this particular ability right here. She can get through stone skin and block damage, but it's going to be interesting and difficult to use her. You're going to do a lot of manualing with her to get the most out of her. But even without getting the most, she can do a lot of cool things for you. So she is a really good single target damage dealer. So we do have a fusion calendar for her, and it looks like a fusion calendar. It's nothing super surprising here other than this hero's path right here. This could be the fated Leonardo's swordsman path here with up to 75 fragments towards the Thorn Golems here. The Thorn Golem looks like an interesting epic, but I wouldn't necessarily go for him exclusively. I would grab one or two of him if you're not going to grab Sanguine Maria, because it's nice to have a couple of void epics hiding in your pool to make sure you can do a champion chase tournament. And if you have never done one of these types of fusions before, I highly recommend saving these guys for the champion chase that's going to happen on Friday, October 31st, because they're going to be 350 points. So you're going to have at least 700 points by the time you get to this champion chase, possibly another 350. So that's over 1,000 points to earn for this champion chase without actually pulling any shards. So the champion chase should be fairly easy. I also think it's going to be 2x ancients, because that's kind of what we're due. I thought we were supposed to have 2x ancients last weekend, and we had 2x voids instead. So that's probably going to be 2x ancients. So let's just make sure we merged that. We'll get the dark blue here so that sticks out. So that is going to be 2x. There we go. 2x ancients. There we go. So that's 2x ancients. You're probably going to want 30 to 50 ancients for that, but you'll need less of them for having these Thorn Golems here. So that could be as easy as having only 10 ancients. It could be as 0 ancients if you have enough other stuff stored. So there are ways to make the champion chases much easier. I would not worry too much about that, other than make sure you maybe have some ancients if you're going to be doing this champion chase. Champion training is up first. That is that's a 4-5 day long event. I have actually not looked at how big that is, but that's going to be pretty easy to do kind of casually, so you don't have to go hard in that immediately. We have gear hunters here, aka dungeon divers. That is always a hard one to deal with it. So we're going to mark that's going to be difficult to deal with, because that is gear hunters. We get another gear hunters over here. That's generally fairly hard to deal with. This gear hunter is going to be particularly difficult because it is, well, we've got 3 days worth of it, and I guess that's a 4-day tournament right there. So we have 3 days for gear hunters starting today, going through the ends the beginning of Sunday. And since that only overlaps 2/3 of the way through the Ice Golem tournament, that's going to be kind of difficult. So we've got the Ice Golem tournament right here, and as you can see, that does not line up particularly well with the gear hunters, especially considering it ends after gear hunter ends. So if you're going to do some champion training in campaign, that's a good time to do it right now to get that gear hunters done as well. You could possibly skip this gear hunters. That's certainly an option as well. As usual, I know a lot of people seem to have issues sometimes with the enhancement event. Given that the cost of moving gear around has gone down, I found on my free-to-play that I am accumulating silver a lot faster than I thought I would. You can always fuse some gear, which won't help with the gear enhancement event, but it will help with getting you some silver. And it won't help with the gear hunters event either, unfortunately. So just be aware of that. And I'm going to bet you right now, this path right here is going to be either gear hunters or champion training as well, but probably not champion training because we have the champion training event right here to go along with this one right here, overlapping with this Heroes Path. There are only 2 gear hunters events, so this is probably going to be another gear hunter style Heroes Path. So very much think a shard plus dungeon divers event for possibly Leonardo. So this could be a very expensive hero's path if you're going for the fusion and you're going for Leonardo. So how many shards are you going to need to deal with this? Well, we talked about the summon rush here. I generally like to speak in ancients. This could be as easy as 4, and it could be as bad as 7 is usually your standard for sacreds. There's going to be some other conversions here, so this might be something like 15 to 20 primals. It could be like 30 to 40 voids. It could be like 100 and some odd ancients. Ancients I wouldn't bother doing it with generally. You could possibly even use, 3,000 mystery shards for this one. So mystery shards might work for the summon rush because summon rushes are actually one of the few places where mystery shards are actually a viable option. So keep that in mind for the summon rush if you're going to do this stuff as well. And honestly, if you can get the summon rush done with mostly mystery shards and maybe a sacred or 2, then to keep you in the fusion that you might not be doing otherwise. As far as easy stuff goes too, we have the classic arena stuff. Those are usually fairly easy. You just need to be a little more active in arena than sometimes you might be normally, and you can get those done, especially if you're in gold 5 or you're very, very early and it has you in a fairly low tournament. We got the Spider tournament right here, and then the Fire Knight tournament right here. Spider tournament lines up perfectly with the Hero's Path, making it a good place to farm Hero's Path points for things like your gear enhancement event. Keep in mind with the Hero's Path too, there are likely to be shard pulling events that will be boosts for different champions. I would not be surprised if boosts for different champions on different days as well. So the best day for you to pull may depend on what champions are available, or you may just not care and want to pull on whatever day you want to pull on for this Heroes event. And again, that could be for Mr. Leonardo right here. So, and if it's not, that means we're going to have another Heroes Path event, and this is going to be a super shard heavy fusion. Now, to get the fragments here, again, this is going to be maybe 4 to 7 sacreds. But generally I find with these hero paths, you can do these for fewer sacreds than you can necessarily for a summon rush. So if you're going to skip the summon rush and go for the hero's path, that's great. If you're going to go for the hero's path for Sanguine Maria, that's fine. It's going to be like 4 to 7 sacreds. Leonardo, I would not be surprised if Leonardo is the equivalent of 25 sacreds. And that's kind of a top end limit for him. It might be another 10, 15 for the soul. Generally, if you get the soul and him, it's like 35 to 40. So that seems about right. Just be careful. Be careful in this particular fusion, especially if you're looking for Leonardo, which I think most people are at this point in this hero's path. As far as other events are concerned, yeah, champion training is always fairly easy to do. And if this is dungeon divers here, plus a little bit of dungeon divers here, you can run some campaign, get some dungeon divers points for champion training as well. The event is over here. So the tournament, I should say, is over here. So the tournament is where you're going to be able to use books to help you out with this. So do keep that in mind. Overall, this is not a horrible fusion to do, other than the fact that this hero's path is going to be required. Now, there are 450 fragments total in this fusion, which means the only bonus 50 are going to be in this hero's path. So if you miss any of these events, you're going to have to do the hero's path to get the bonus 50 fragments to be able to get Leonardo if you ever want to skip anything. So with that in mind, you're going to, have to possibly make a choice whether or not you're going to go for Sanguine Maria or Leonardo. And we may not know until that hero's path. So I know on my accounts, I was not planning on necessarily doing the fusion on my free to play. On my main, I thought I might, but we're going to kind of wait and see. I'm not going to miss Leonardo if I can avoid Leonardo. I'll avoid missing Leonardo, I should say. So I am going to cautiously do whatever I can. I'm going to play it easy at the summon rush and do as little shard pulling as I can, but try to get that done. Hopefully do as much mystery shard leaning as possible for that summon rush. And to be fair, they've made mystery shard pulling a lot easier lately with the fact that I can pull to the vault now, and I can feed champions en masse pretty easily of the 1 and 2 star variety. And of course, it's going to be during the champion training, so I will get a bunch of champion training points for feeding champions as well. So, could be a worse time to have that summon rush than right there. And hopefully you can get yourself a Sanguine Maria. She looks like she's a very, very good champion. She looks like a solid damage dealer. But if you're going to be choosing between her and Leonardo, get Leonardo. Leonardo is a limited edition champion. Sanguine Maria will go in the main pool and be available permanently. And I mean, she's actually technically available permanently right now. So honestly, one of the best ways you could possibly do this fusion is very early on, pull her and just grab a couple of the epics, store them on your account, and then get Leonardo. So that's the hope for the fusion. For most people, you're going to be either doing this fusion or you're just going to skip it and recoup. On my free-to-play, I was kind of hoping to skip it and recoup, but with champion training being one of the first tournaments anyway, which is one of the things I need to do desperately, I might be able to keep up with the first couple of events, build up some of my shards my gems, because I did win personal rewards. So I've got a bunch of energy saved up for the next couple days, and dump that energy into Ice Golem and champion training and see if I can get far enough in the gear hunters, and then see what the summon rush is like, if I can possibly do it on my free to play. And if I can't, well, then I've at least invested enough to get at least one of the Thorn Golems. I will probably try to invest to get 2 of the Thorn Golems if I think I can do it. And if I can get 3 of them, even better. And if I can't do everything for this fusion, if I can get 1, 2, or 3 Thorn Golems, that's another fusion I have almost in the bag from the Champion Chase tournament points, just from Thorn Golems. So hey, hopefully this guide was helpful for you. I know it's a little rushed. It's really early in the morning for me, and I have to get to work soon. So you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know down below if you're going for Sanguine Maria, or if you're going to go for Leonardo, or you're going to try to do both of them. Let me know what you think of the champion as well. Otherwise, you guys have an absolutely wonderful day. And until the next video, I am Bront, CatHerder.